Hey guys, J-Man here. And we have come down to the final day, the final match of the Space Opera tournament. It has been crazy long. The next one's going to be fantasy, and I'll talk about it at the end of this, how it's going to work. It's going to be a little bit different. We're going to make it a bit easier as well on ourselves, but also just in general. So here is the long journey of what we've gone through. So just so you have a visual representation. We're going to talk about the journey in just a second. I've got a space for the winner. We'll talk about the journey in just a second once I get everybody on. So just a few updates. Obviously, there was no Avatar 2 or Avatar: The Way of Water. Obviously, we didn't do a stream on that. We didn't review it. We did get snowed in a little bit on Thursday night. So Sean and Steven and I could not see Avatar on the opening day. So I'm not sure what's going on for that. Maybe we can try next week and postpone it. I don't know. Guys, let me know. Like, does it really matter to you? Because I'm like iffy on it. I'm going to probably buy this movie on 4K regardless of what I think about it, because it's just going to be part of the collection. And I'm sure it's going to be visually amazing. I wouldn't mind seeing it in 3D IMAX. The first Avatar in IMAX 3D was actually pretty spectacular. Probably the best 3D that I've seen. So let me know in the comments, or reach out to me on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and let me know if you guys want us to go a bit more in depth with Avatar. I was just going to do a quick review on it, maybe talk about it on a stream for a little bit, but we're going to be late to the game. So let me know if it still matters to everybody, if they actually care about that. This Tuesday, Steven and I are going to be talking about the women's division wrestling, WWE. Big, super, mega news. Mandy Rose was let go, which is why she lost to Roxanne Perez. In the most shocking loss in my life that I've ever heard. Like, I was watching it, like, she just lost. I'm like, something's going on here. I went to social media. I'm like, yep, she's done. So we're going to definitely talk about that and get everyone's opinion on that. And next, I think if Sean is still good, we're going to be doing the Days of High Adventure, which is going to be talking about Conan, the 2011 Conan movie. We kind of covered it on the Action Elite, but I want to talk more in depth about the Conan 2011 movie with Sean. We're going to do an in-depth dive on that one. And this Wednesday on the Action Elite, on the Action Elite's YouTube channel, we are going to be looking at the entire year of action movies. There's probably like 1.5 good ones. No, I'm just kidding with it. Charlie backstage is like, yeah. No, there's something. We'll talk about it. I don't even remember. We're gonna have to have a list and go through a list and see what was good and what wasn't good. But all right, guys. Well, that is that. Let's get the panel in so we can decide on a winner here. Let's bring in our first panelist. Hello, Sean. Hey, all right. Let's just get everybody. We're gonna next one in. Where is his thing? There he is. Oh no, you know what? Oh, there it is. Sorry. Oh, hey, Charlie. I've got so many things now on StreamYard that I can't even find anybody anymore.
I know, so many.
You're there somewhere, don't worry. All right, let's bring our last panelist. All right. And the gang is all here for the final. Okay. I've got a poll going up as usual. It's the most official poll of all time. So please vote on who do you think should win, Yor the Hunter from the Future or Spacehunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone 3D. Those are your two choices. I'm going to bring up the space opera notes, the tournament notes. Here they are. We got a full house. It's crazy to look at the notes. So we got Yor and Space Hunter. We've got me, Charlie, Sean, Steve. SPACET for the total. And we're good. Okay, so have you guys had fun? Did you like this concept or?
Oh yeah. It's been a blast. A lot of hidden gems, a lot of not so good gems, but it's been fun. What's up, Arkham Gaming?
Hey, cannot be reached.
Come on, man. We told you he was going to make it to the finals.
He might.
Yeah. It's the final match now.
The final countdown.
That's
Okay,
it.
so so Charlie, sorry, you were saying a few hidden gems that you discovered.
Yeah, I think there's been some hidden gems in here. There's been some that ain't been the greatest, but it's still fun just kind of reliving these movies and then comparing them to similar movies in that style and vein. So it's been fun.
Cool. So Steve, for you've got introduced. So Charlie got introduced to like what, one or two movies. I got introduced to one or two. You got introduced to like 14 or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like basically like
a million. Yeah, it was good. It was it's one of those things where didn't grow up with these movies like you guys did, so it was great to find them out now. Like and I can't say I discovered them because it was because of the tournament I saw them, but seeing what you guys would have seen, yeah, I can understand why you would have been excited back then and even now. With a lot of them, there, like Charlie said, there were some that I won't name Space Mutiny. That was just like, they were as bad as I thought they would be. But there was a lot of good movies, like Space Raiders came out of nowhere, and that was one that was a shocker. No one was talking about.
No,
and then all of a sudden we came in the next day. Or we came in the next week after watching it, and Ice Pirates was a big favorite, and we killed it with Space Raiders.
Killed it with Space Raiders.
And who would have thought that? Like, but I knew this was going to be an unusual tournament right off the bat because I missed the first week, Krull versus Yor, and I'm like, well, I don't need to be there because I know Krull's obviously going to win. And then I watch it, and I'm like, what's going on?
Uh-oh. Yeah, you did not. Nobody called that. I didn't even I didn't call that one.
Oh.
Nope.
So Sean, how about you? You've well, I think were you the only person? Oh no, you never saw Galaxina, but did you see every other movie? You neither.
Pretty much. The thing is that a lot of these I saw when I was a kid, so like revisiting Space Raiders, for example, was a revelation because I loved it as a kid, and I was like, well, it's probably whatever now. And it's not, Star Wars or something, but there's a lot more I can see in it as an adult.
Right.
Yor, I always liked.
Yeah.
Something as well, like Ice Pirates, I already had the revelation as kind of because I loved it as a kid, and then when I bought it on DVD in like the early 2000s, I was like, yeah, it's it's okay, I guess. It's inventive, but I think it gets more and more annoying to me now. It's kind of like Goonies to me now.
Yeah, Goonies was my big revelation.
So yeah, like shifting opinions on things, some being more heightened than they were before. That's pretty good, So I like revisiting all this stuff. It was pretty awesome.
Well, actually, I was gonna. I've got
to puts me to sleep sometimes.
Take a nap during Krull. It's totally fine.
That's the only one of the big victories here is like I got to see Krull all the way through without sleeping. I don't know what the hell happened there. I was like, I gotta do it, and I did it. So.
I like how he keeps snaking the joke away from me. He's like, if I make fun of myself, Charlie can't do it. Like, you bastard! That's my joke. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Space Raiders did change their life. So for me, so if I go across, Space Mutiny was brand new for me. Space Raiders was brand new for me. And from the bottom, Enemy Mine. So for me, there was three. So out of the three movies that were brand new to me, obviously I'm going to say the mega super surprise was Enemy Mine. That was a big time, like, wow, like this is incredible. This is like, again, too good to be in this. Space Raiders was also a good surprise.
That was the true diamond in the rough in this.
Yeah. Well, see, you guys had already known Enemy Mine was good, so
yeah, that wasn't a revelation to me. I was just like, it's a great movie. It's in here. Let's go. But the true, like, none of us expected diamond in the rough was Space Raiders, man. That was. I actually watched it again today. I was like, awesome. Man, this movie's just great. It came on right after I watched Spacehunter again today. Newbie already knew. It's like, hey, go ahead, watch this one now. You're good.
So that brings us to the next question, I guess. Well, Charlie, I guess yours was Spacehunter then, right? Was that your big, like, wow?
That was my biggest wow in this thing was realizing how much I love that movie, because we had just come off of covering Metal Storm on the podcast, which the first time I had seen it was there. So I'd already watched it before we did the tournament. And so I was like, man, while it's not a great movie, I still like, man, it's still fun. It's kind of a big ask to beat it in the 3D category.
Right.
And dude, Spacehunter, it just blew me away. I watched it again today and just really I didn't care about the story now. I was just really taking in like the surrounding, the atmosphere, everything. And I'm like, holy shit, this movie's fantastic.
I know it's awesome.
I love it, man. I love it. So
yeah.
I mean, it's going to be one that I'm going to buy, and get it on Blu-ray or whatever kind of boutique DVD I can get it on. But it's fantastic. So that's my big one. That's my takeaway from this entire 16 movie tournament that we've done, is I got that one out of here. And we got to introduce so many people to Yor. Like, even in the comment section, people are like, what's Yor? What are you talking about? I remember that from a kid. It's ridiculous. And some people are like, well, I went back and watched it. It's kind of cool. Now they're in our group, following Yor along on the adventures we got him going. So I mean, it's been a blast.
Are you guys enjoying the Facebook group? I threw it to the chat. I threw it to the group. I was like, guys, you. I
like today's option. I like that.
That was good. People are like, whoa, wait a minute. I get to say you say what happens, buddy. Let's do it. Let's see what you guys come up with. So I'm going to give this one a few more days.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
And then we'll kind of see how it goes. But that's why I was writing it out, and I'm like, well, this is kind of long. I'm like, that's it. This is going to be an epic one. I'll write like a big thing, and then they can write their own.
Really set up the process, and then just get us to the action.
The action. Yeah. Okay, that's great. So Steve, do you have what's your big one? Out of the movie, Steve is almost, well, no one's more important than me, but I was going to say Steve is almost the most important person on here. No, Steve is the most important person on here, actually, because a lot of these movies he's coming at them with today's eyes, which I always do try to do unbiased reviews, right? Like I don't want to just be like, well, Spacehunter's my favorite movie because I liked it as a kid. I had it on VHS, so I don't give a shit. It's like, no, I'm really trying to kind of do it. But you had this unique opportunity to really kind of say, okay, hold on, I'm an adult, I'm a movie collector, I'm a writer, right? So you're bringing a lot to the table, and now you're presented with these movies, and some of them might be a bit cheese, and some of them are like, oh, So what were the ones that kind of surprised you, like where you thought, oh, this is gonna be not great, or why is Jay making me? I know it's gonna hurt my feelings. I know there's a few like, oh man, and it's like, why is Jay making me watch this? And after you think about wait till you get to the fantasy ones, then you're going to be really like, God damn, why is he making me watch this? But because like these still have action. Some of these fantasy ones are going to be pretty awful. But okay, so which ones kind of surprised you the most, Steve?
I think the one that surprised me most was Space Raiders.
Space Raiders, yep.
Right. I had seen a bit of Spacehunter, and I'd already been intrigued by it. Battle Beyond the Stars, you prepped me for. You're like, just buy it because it's right. I remember you said it's a real film, and I remember we laughed over that. It's like, oh, and like the other films which aren't real. But and then Enemy Mine, but I knew about Enemy Mine. I didn't see it, but I knew about it. But Space Raiders came out of that was one where I'm like, okay, well, I thought Metal Storm was going to destroy it, because not even like Charlie doing that stream on, I'm like, okay, like these guys are talking about it. It's obviously a good movie.
Right.
And then like Space Raiders, I'm like, well, I just seen Space Mutiny. And I'm going to see Space Raiders. Anything with space in it is probably going to be whatever.
Oh,
and I'm watching and I'm like, this is quite good. What the hell is going on here? This came out of nowhere. Like literally out of nowhere. So to me, that was the biggest shocker. I did get Battle Beyond the Stars on Blu-ray though.
Nice, yeah. It's worth it on the Blu-ray. It's got good stuff on there too. It's a good release. Spacehunter, there is a Blu-ray, but it's like bare bones. It's waiting for like a
hard, to get
like a better. Like I would pay. Like I'll pay $60. I don't care. It's the same thing with Zardos. There's a few of these movies that I really love that like you can't get. Like I can buy Zardos for like $90 or whatever, and I would buy it because I love Zardos. But like
the DVDs or
Blu-ray, I have the DVD of it.
Oh yeah.
There's a Blu-ray of Zardos.
Yeah.
But like some boutique thing's gonna do that movie because that's a
Yeah.
weird.
It's on a long list somewhere that it's gonna get released. And the best, if you wait long enough, they'll throw enough bonus stuff in there to really make it. Like I paid quite a bit for my Megaforce collection, but I got a shit ton of stuff with it. So I was like, that makes it worth it. I'll pay $40-$50 to get Megaforce, and I got a hat. So it's all good stuff.
I didn't see that because I have Megaforce and mine's just Blu-ray, I think.
I got the release this year from Umbrella Entertainment.
Oh, you bought the Umbrella one.
Yeah, I bought the Umbrella one, which came with like the reproduction lobby cards, poster, Megaforce hat, a patch. And a DVD, I guess, was in there too.
Yeah,
somewhere.
you got the movie too.
I got the
everything
movie.
But the movie. No, I
worth
ordered
it.
I ordered the Terrifier set, which gives you his like glasses from Terrifier 2, where it's just like him wearing those glasses is like one of the best things that's ever been filmed. It's just like so random. It's like he's wearing these sunflower glasses. You're like, oh, okay.
I've seen that.
But okay, yeah. So Space Raiders was a big surprise. Sean, did you have any surprise? Like, I'm trying to see. Did you see? What didn't you see? Galaxina was the only one you hadn't seen, right? Or I'm looking at.
I'm trying to look here.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you've like.
No, I've seen everything. I'm such a loser, right?
Oh, stop it.
So was Galaxina worse than I made?
I like Galaxina a lot, man. I don't know.
There you go.
No, it's cool. It's still it's a dreary mess, and it's kind of miserable, but it's still got more imagination in that damn thing than most things today. I like when they go into that bar where they eat humans, and they glance over at like the buffet table, and it's this woman just strewn all over the place, and her head's like like that. It's horrifying and funny at the same time.
Right.
And that dude that eats like rocks and stuff, and like it's just like, why is all this cool shit in this? It's supposed to be shit. What is this? So yeah,
because they're having fun with it. That's what I loved Galaxina. I had a blast with it.
Like the hologram woman that's like stripping is hilarious just because it's so dumb. It's like, what? Who wrote this? Right? Like, did they have a cigar when they stopped writing that thing? Like, what the hell, man?
You got to get more boobs in this movie, man. How do we get more boobs in this movie?
And it's like they have all these rules about that planet that's all red. And it's like, and then they just abandon all. It's like they're all just walking around,
right?
It's like, psh. Yeah, no, it's the kind of movie that you expect out of this,
right?
But it's still got heart to it, so I liked it.
Yeah, I like it too. I can't. The poster's expensive. I can't get the poster, but Spacehunter, the poster, I'm going to get. Slip cases and sleeves, I keep them on the shelves.
Keep them on.
You guys do.
Yeah.
So when I got my DVD collection all collected up and we moved a couple times, I ditched all the boxes and put everything in like those sleeves for computer discs.
Yeah.
Now I'm going everything I buy now, I keep it in the case because I now realize how much I like the cover art, or you get some kind of unique cover with it. And you're like, man, I love this one because this new one that came out sucks. So I keep all the cases and everything now. And now I shoot for Steelbook. If I can get something on a Steelbook, I go for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of Steelbooks because sometimes the designs suck. But like if they're really good,
they got to be good. I'll give you that. It's not just because it's steel. It's got to be a good or really cheap. It's got to be a movie I like and really cheap, and I'll get it.
Like controversially, I never liked Mondo. It always looked like a comic book line art to me, rather than like I'm so used to the old style like realistic painting type of look.
What's that guy's name who did all the Indiana Joneses and Back?
Like Police Academy even had that treatment. It's like
Police Academy's he's got me 4 posters above my head. Can't see it.
Mondo kind of went like the Sin City Frank Miller kind of stylized artwork. I don't know. I like because I got the Highlander Mondo and I love it. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I like getting. I think I don't know who does it. I can't remember now. They just flip it.
Where I get 2 different covers.
Well, I don't know. I'm blanking on it.
Synopsis, I think.
Yeah, Synapse does it.
And Shout Factory. Shout Factory will do both.
Shout Factory.
Because I got the Blob. I got like their special art, and you could flip it to the original cover. I love when give me the option. I love that. The Synopsis does it because I have the Red Scorpion
I have that too. Yeah.
So
I think they all do it. Like Arrow does it. Vinegar Syndrome does.
That's
I
right.
have a few like that.
True. That's right.
Drew Struzan.
That's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just watched a documentary on him the other day, or not. Well,
Yeah.
like the other day, meaning like 5 months ago. Okay, guys. I guess let's get going.
You got Sean all excited. Look at him.
Sean's dropped. What did you drop? Oh, what was that dropped?
It was a Guardians of the Galaxy.
Did you get Full Circle, Sean? Fantastic Four first Full Circle?
No, I didn't.
You didn't get
no,
that?
I should. I know. Yeah.
That's a fail.
I know.
Oh my god! I'm throwing this on here for you.
That's a fucking 50 DKP minus.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's a meme that keeps on ticking. That's like a pre-YouTube meme.
I know. I know. So it's pre-YouTube. Somebody had to put that.
This is a video that went around an email. Like,
oh man.
God.
Man, it's like I don't know if that's better than Who the Fuck Cast Fear, but like
the whole thing is awesome.
That whole thing is good.
It's genius.
You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
You know, and when I mean slowly, I mean fucking slow.
And watch the fucking tail.
Yeah, more dots.
Okay, stop dots.
Stop dots. Yeah, dots. More dots. All right. Okay, let's do it. Yor and Spacehunter. This is going to be tough. Both are, Spacehunter's a childhood movie, but Yor has awakened my childhood. So, what is it going to be? I'm going to try to just be as objective as I can and let the winner be the winner. I'm okay with either of these winning. It doesn't really bother me. Spacehunter, you got Could Not Be Reached is going with Spacehunter. Let's see the vote. Who's voted? Because we actually had about 6 or 7 people on here.
Wow, for the finale, eh?
It's the finale.
Yeah.
We'll rival the Super Bowl. It's all good.
It's like they all came and voted and then left. But everyone voted for Spacehunter.
They do not want Yor coming away with a W.
They do not want Yor to win.
This one.
I don't know. There's
all the Yor hate.
They're afraid of what's going to happen.
I think the thing is, I'll say this, and we're gonna get going. I think the thing is that, like, when I'm watching movies, this explains to Steve when I say it's a real movie. Like, when I'm watching a movie, I'm transported into the perfect person for that movie that I'm watching, right? Or at least who they want it to be for, right? That's why when I don't like something, like, say I still like Galaxina, it's like, I'm like, yeah, because while they're just having fun with it, I get it. They're having fun. And yeah, that movie's going to not be liked by generic people because they're going to be like, oh, what's going on? This is stupid, whatever. And I hate that attitude. I'm like, look, they're trying to do some fun stuff. Okay, they didn't have the budget for it. What do you want? Where's your movie? Like, I want to see your movie with that. But I'm going to give you the same amount of money and you do the same storyline and let me see what you've come up with. This is why people piss me off. This is actually why I came up with the space rating thing, is that, yeah, if Yor gets an 8 out of 10, or a 9 out of 10, right? If Spacehunter gets a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, well, what is that? That's as good as, Ben-Hur or something. It's like, or is that as good as Die Hard? I'm like, well, no, because Die Hard is a different movie. It's like Spacehunter is its own movie. How well did they deliver on this? Yeah, the budget's a factor. So what? The budget, even if the budget sucks, yeah, but the Spacehunter characters are great. That's not a budget. The characters are legitimately good. So that's not a budget thing. So, okay, if the budget was a bit more, then it would have been more awesome, right? Like, it wouldn't have been less awesome. It would have been more if you kept the same thing. That's why remakes piss me off too. Like Clash of Titans. You've got these great effects now, and you're like, oh, we're going to one-up Harryhausen. I'm like, okay. And then they changed the story. I'm like, you changed the story? That was already perfect. It's like, that didn't need to be changed. And neither the effects need to be changed either. Harryhausen's one of my heroes. But if you're going to update it, then keep the same story. Instead, he's like, oh, I hate the gods. I don't want the gods' help yet. He uses all their weapons and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, anyway. So getting back to these movies, it's like when I say, oh, this is a real movie, what I mean is like they tried to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't a pie. Sean came up with this term like 15 years ago, like pie chart movie. And it literally came out as they really, and we knew that was real. Like, I know we were like, Sean, we were always joking about that.
No, we knew it.
But then we knew that was real. We were joking, not joking. Because then when that Disney's footage leaked of them literally having a pie chart, like, it's like, You know, oh, we need to appeal to this percentage of people, this percent. It's like, okay, I'm sorry, just make Space Hunter. Here, I've got this movie. It's called Space Hunter. It's going to be this guy. He's got to rescue these women, and a lot of cool shit happens. That's it. It's like, and if it appeals to you, come watch it. If it doesn't appeal to you, don't watch it.
The J-Man script, page 2, a lot of cool shit happens. Page 3, the end.
Shit, that is my scripts. You're in the Your group.
I know.
Your movie is the best thing ever. This choosing is like, this is the greatest thing ever.
It's a 10 out of 10. As long as we keep K-Law dead, it's a 10 out of 10.
Oh, wait till you see the upgrades, man. I've got like a lot of upgrades planned for her. And I'm making this up on the fly. Literally, I'm making it up as on the fly. All right. Okay, so story. Let's go, Steve. Which one? Your or Space Hunter for story? What do you think?
It's your.
All right.
It goes to try and get something better, which isn't to say Space Hunter has a bad plot story. It has a perfect story for what it's doing. But Space Hunter is boiling down to a simple quest. A simple quest for him to save these 3 girls from Mike Ironside's character. That's it. Sorry, that is what it is. Like, what, you know, if you said to me, if I said to you, tell me Space Hunter's plot story in one line, it'd be, you know, Wolf and Nikki go across the world to save 3 girls from Overdog. That's the story. Right. There's a ton of story, and it's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. You know, he goes from situation to situation. You're constantly surprised. What's he going to do now? What's it going to end up being? And the end is a complete shock. The end is a complete 180. Holy crap! I didn't think I was watching this movie. Right. So for me, it's clearly Yor.
Okay. Sean.
Oh, it's Yor. Space. Yeah, I mean everything Steve said. Like Space Hunter is awesome. But the thing is, it doesn't strive for anything loftier than the formulaic thing it's doing. It's like they have to get the girls, kill Overdog or whatever his name is, and Nikki teams up with the main guy at the end, right? And Washington is cool and stuff, and he's around. With Yor, it's like all this stuff is how, like there's this mystery and all that. And then it's like, oh, this, it's really Earth in the future, even though the song gave it away. But yeah, it's like it's Earth in the future, and all these, like, the pterodactyl that kind of doesn't look like a pterodactyl, maybe because of art issues, is really a mutant one. So it's fine, stuff like that. And it's all cool, and the dude with the flashlight hand and everything, it's got a bit more to say. So to me, the story would go, and plus, like, because of that twist, there's more surprises to unpack. So to me, it's Yor.
More cool shit happens.
Yeah, it edges out Space Hunter.
All right, Charlie.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. More cool shit happens. There's a lot of cool shit in both these movies.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying more than the other. I'm saying more than what we had. Like,
more than what you had.
Shit was over. Now you got more.
These 2 movies, man, is going to be splitting hairs flat out. I mean, there's nothing that overpowers one category or the other by like a whole point. So I'm going to go story with Yor just because of the little added twists and nods and the fact it's prehistoric, yet it's in the future. But I love the story of Space Hunter because I do like a nice linear story. They never really deviate off of it, even though there's a lot that happens. That'll come into play later in the tournament. But story wise, just if on paper, script wise, Yor takes it barely.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. Yor as well. I was going to say Yor. Yeah, Space Hunter is a simple story. And that's fine. That's fine for the movie they're making. And I think it works really well for Space Hunter. And Yor is also a simple story, but then it's like, whoa, there's more going on than I thought there was going on, which makes it kind of neater. That's the thing, right? Like, Space Hunter's like, yep, I'm following along. Yep. Okay. if Yor was just called Yor the Hunter, it's actually the comic is just called Yor the Hunter. If it just said Yor the Hunter, and it didn't, I mean, this I've told you I've listened to the song 100 times. You guys think I'm joking when I say that, but it's like I literally have it on
you're joking.
Yeah, I have it on repeat. Like I just have it on. I heard it like once, like 20 times in a row. So, anyways, I'm trying to like sing the whole thing. So, anyways, but if that song didn't really say anything too much or was more vague or whatever, it's like he's the hunter or something, to make up some different lyrics, you'd be like, holy shit, what the hell happened here, right? The poster also, not the poster of him like this on the thing, but they've got the other one. The other one really shows the robot stuff. This one just shows like the spaceships, which really don't really happen.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't even have that. It should just be like a Conan style cover, and then it's like then you're like, whoa. That said, the posters that they have are awesome. But yeah, yours kind of cool. The story's a little bit better just because it's got a little extra thought put into it. Maybe because it's a comic book, or I'm not sure if that was in the comics because I can't seem to find any of them.
Right.
But
we can only go off what we've been told by the guy that did it.
Right.
So it's like we'll take your word for it.
Sure. Okay, pacing. Who wants to go on pacing? I'll throw this.
I'll go. I got
Charlie. Yeah.
Spacehunter.
Yeah.
Because the story is linear, the pacing is perfectly done.
Right.
Everything happens when it's supposed to happen. I don't have any long lulls in the movie where I like lose interest. Even so much as when they're camping down for the night, I get the fun of him making her take a bath, to clean her up. What could be completely boring ends up being quite entertaining. And then we meet Washington. Then they go back out on the road and we're immediately at all these different locations as they go. The pacing goes to Spacehunter. Yor has fast pacing, but sometimes you get confused, especially the first time you watch Yor. You're like, what is going on?
Right.
Third or fourth time watching, you're like, I know what's happening, so I'm okay with this.
Right.
But if I go off of first time watching Spacehunter, which I can go off of, first time watching Yor, which was only a few years ago, Spacehunter has the better pacing as far as these two movies are concerned.
Yeah, this is maybe the toughest one. Sean, what do you think?
It's tough. I'll go with Spacehunter because if Yor was cut from a 4-hour miniseries, which was always the rumor, it kind of shows. There are times when they split up and stuff, and I'm like, huh? Right. And then they get back together, and they're both greatly paced, but we have to pick one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This is tough. This is tough.
Splitting hairs. Yeah, we're splitting hairs.
Real tough.
Yeah. Spacehunter, I'm not so confused by what's happening, as you were saying, Charlie, with Yor, because it's like you kind of know the story of the main two and where Washington is in that story, and he's going to come back, and what their goal is supposed to be and everything. Yor is more of an investigation, but there is stuff that gets in the way. Like, I mean, the one girl that gets in the way and wants to kill Kayla and then, and all that stuff. It's cool. It's great to watch. It's awesome. But like, the thing is that it's, you could probably do it without a lot of that stuff. So I don't know. I'm going to go with Spacehunter. Yeah. I mean, it's like whenever, Pag like splits up away from Yor and those guys, I'm like, yeah, I don't get why. Like, you're just just the three of them go on this adventure and they're fighting who has the medallion and all that stuff, right? So I'll go Spacehunter. All
right, Steve.
Yeah, Spacehunter. Pretty much what Sean and Charlie said, but also like the thing with Yor is that it's got a lot going on. But it almost seems like, so I'll give you an example. I actually cut that into 4 quadrants, right? So you got the beginning, the intro with him saving the villagers.
Right.
And the second one is, meeting the blonde and, finding out a bit more about his heritage. And then the third one is the beach, right? And saving those people and then, being offered the girl. And then the fourth one is the finale where he discovers everything and he fights the main villain. The third part of that movie, the third of the 4 quadrants, sort of was almost misaligned a bit to where we're going with the story, because when it starts a forward momentum, of him discovering that, I felt like they should have continued that. It was almost like, okay, I'm figuring out where I am. Oh, I gotta go rescue these people on the beach. It's cool, and I enjoyed the sequence, but in the whole thing, I was sort of like, well, wait a minute. I thought we were finding this out. This is this is fine. I'm enjoying this, but like in terms of the what I've been watching, I'm kind of like, I felt like we lost a little momentum there because I identified quickly that Yor's mystery was the thrust of the movie, and that's where we were going to end up going.
Right.
Where we were going to end up going, I didn't know, but it sort of went like off a bit. Spacehunter gives me either action or character moments, right? Character moments, and a lot of stuff with Nikki and Wolf. And I feel it's important to have everything there. I feel like everything is in its right place, right? You see Overdog, you see him like, make the women strip or whatever, take her clothes off, and you don't need to see more of that. You get the idea about Overdog, right? Like the old man is like, oh, Overdog, blah, 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 blah. And then like you see him and you're like, yeah, he's the bastard they say he is.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's good to just focus on Wolf and Nikki throughout, which is what the movie does. It makes the right choices, I think, to progress the viewer through the story, which is A, taking out Overdog, and B, Nikki and Wolf's burgeoning, friendship. So
where are you going with this? Oh my God, I'm already stuck, to be honest. I don't know, because I'm never bored through any of it. I'm glad the three of you picked one, because I wasn't really sure what to pick. So I'm going to pick Spacehunter and just bow to the majority for the reasons that you all said. I'm not really bored through Yor, but I can definitely, I guess I'm going to say I can definitely tell, like when Steve was talking, if you do the 4-quadrant thing, it's like right here is where a lot of stuff was cut out.
Yeah. Well, they said that it's when it originally aired, wherever it originated from, it was a 4-part miniseries.
Right. Yes.
So there's 4 50-minute episodes.
Yeah.
That makes total sense for how you have perceived it. So what they've done is, okay, we give you a little bit more of part 1, give you part 2, let's shrink up part 3, and then give you more of part 4. That makes sense. That lines up with there being like, I don't know, however many 200 and some odd minutes of a movie that we only got 89 minutes
let's
of.
say though, let's give credit where credit is due. It's an excellent job of doing that.
Yeah, it is an excellent job.
I'm surprised they were able to get it that tight and still be somewhat cohesive. It does feel it again. We're not. Damn it, Sean.
What's going on?
Earthquake in Canada. But and again, it's not saying that Yor's badly paced. I'm not bored during Yor. It was just which one, I guess, do I prefer as far as how it goes, and that's where it comes down to the Spacehunter. Just as a little, I guess, cohesive is the word. It's more cohesive and it goes at a better flow than Yor does. Yor's a slight bit jarring until you understand the joy of Yor, and then you're like, okay, I'm in for this. It's fine. That takes about 3 viewings, and then you're good.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, and you could tell that's where it's cut. Like if you're gonna cut Lord of the Rings trilogy into 2 movies, you can't cut the you can't cut starting.
What do you sacrifice?
Right, and you can't cut the end because that's the end. So the last bit of part 1, part 2, and the beginning of part 3 are going to be the most edited down.
Yep.
Right, because you could just be like, you don't even have to have the Battle of the Two Towers. You could just be like, okay, Sauron is amassing an army to attack, and you don't even have to have that battle at all. It's like he kind of lost one and then he fights again. It's like just you can eliminate that entire thing. So yeah, that's what happened with Yor. I'm comparing Yor to Lord of the Rings.
And what's your problem? It's totally fine. Yeah,
that's when Baron Munchausen. Remember, it's like if he's not, it's like where he's like, where the hell is Berthold? He's like, don't know. Thought he was with you. He's like, well, if he's not back in 3.5 minutes, the Sultan's gonna cut off my head. And then he's like, and he's like, and
that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
I love The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. I have the poster. One of my favorite movies of all time.
I got to rewatch that. I haven't seen
it's
that
so
before,
genius.
ever.
Okay. artistry. Yeah, he did. I like. We're gonna do. I was already thinking of the next one's gonna be. Well, I'll talk about it at the end. But I want to do animated, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bad ones. Like I want to do Fire and Ice, Lord of the Rings, Transformers,
Wizards.
What's the guy's name? Wizards. Yeah.
So like the 70s, 80s stuff that
70s, 80s. Yeah. So we'll. It's way down the line. It's like way down the line because we've got.
It's taken us 3 months to do this one.
Yeah. Well, the next one's going to be shorter. And again, we can always shorten it up to where it's like after the first round, we can do a couple, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah, we can bundle it up, which I think that's because we just start talking in monotonous, repeating ourselves over and over again about movies.
Right, exactly. Yep. All right. So artistry, Steve, what do you think for artistry? Which one do you prefer?
Yor.
Okay.
Theme song is better than Space Hunters. Cinematography, I'm going to say Sean's favorite thing. Cinematography is better. Right. It's close. It's very close, but I love the cinematography. The look of it is awesome. Space Hunter has terrific visuals, but I feel like Yor had a bit more on its plate. It showed a bit more of the world,
right,
than Space Hunter did, just a bit more. And because of that, it had to come up with the creatures. It had to come up with the costumes. I felt the costumes from Space Hunter were very much like post-apocalyptic space adventure, where Yor really had to meld that caveman look with a futuristic look later on in the movie. So a lot of different styles, and I just feel that Yor had a little bit more that it had to do. Maybe, because they're making a mini series, they had to figure out all these different things. Space Hunter didn't do that. They knew they were going to be a movie from beginning to end. But it is what it is. I just think Yor is better artistry.
All right, Charlie.
This is the reason I watched Space Hunter again today was because I was like, I know I love the way Yor looks. I want to watch the movie without paying attention to the plot or anything.
Right.
Mine's going to be Space Hunter because if I take away the Yor song from Yor, it's no contest that Space Hunter is actually better done. It even from the little bit we do get in space with the ships and the escape shuttle landing, the girls in the spacesuits. I paused on those spacesuits. They spent way more money and time on those things than they ever needed to. They are perfectly polished, copper looking. There's parts of it that move when they get out of the ship. His ship, Wolf's ship, that buries itself in the sand has almost like this Romulan warbird look to it.
Romulans are my favorite.
Yeah, and I mean this ship is I wanted to see it in a space battle. How awesome it was. And then we get the Scrambler, the vehicle he drives, which has a turret on the side. I love the Mad Max look. The train comes in, it has sails because it's not running off steam. Washington has the plow on the front of his, basically a tank. I love, and then the sets when they go into like the abandoned building with the fat people that try to eat them running around. I mean, you feel like, okay, they're in this confined space. Then they go underwater with the mermaid/sirens, how beautiful they are, yet slimy and oily looking. And then Overdog's entire like fortress and exterior shots and the design of Overdog himself. Like we've talked about it. Someone just went, I drew this. Can we make it? Like, yes, we can make that. It's gorgeous. And then there is a American Gladiators of Death running around this entire, end of the movie with a car that's trying to chop people up and burn them and torches and flames. And that's artistry to me. Just the way they built this in Space Hunter blows away my love of the dinosaurs in Yor. They're fun. They're awesome. The pterodactyl that we always talk about, the dead one, he hang glides. But we also almost never remember to remind ourselves there's 4 freaking hang gliders in Space Hunter. They capture the girls off of hang gliders and take, like, legitimately, not fake, not anything like that. I mean, they're picking up dummies, but they're legit hang gliding in this movie. And Yor goes down zip line on a stiff styrofoam pterodactyl as he attacks the blue guys. And then, stuff gets cool in the space and everything. And I like the costuming in it. But overall, it has to go to Spacehunter for me because it can't just be the song.
Right.
Yor wins song wise. If there was a separate category for song, Yor beat everyone in this entire tournament song wise, just from that. But artistry, as far as what I was giving, the feast for the eyes, goes to Spacehunter.
All right, Sean.
Oh, it's gotta be Spacehunter, man. And like I know that last time we talked about this last week. J-Man, you're like, oh, the song, it's awesome, but and it beats like music beats in Yor beats Spacehunter. I don't like the music in Spacehunter. I think it's too cheap generic sounding. Yeah, it's like generic. 4 horns in a storeroom somewhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's too Errol Flynn swashbuckling, and I don't think that's what they. I don't think that's what this really demanded. I mean, you see what the director and the cinematographer are doing. It's like, and this is what you came up with. So, but all the visuals, not just like the scope of them, but just the imagination behind them. It has to beat out Yor here. I mean, just those giant trucks and everything, and the ships. They don't look like cool looking Star Warsy things. They look like functional. Like if these people existed in space in the real world, they'd probably look like these big crappy ships that sort of interconnect, and they don't have to look awesome. They just have to do a thing, right?
Piece together, purposeful.
And those like that plow is super useless. But like I feel like
one use in the movie is all I got.
Well, yeah, I feel like what happened is they made this thing and it was gonna fall off any second. And they just like made it part of the movie, right?
Yeah.
But also in real life, it would probably fall off all the time, anyways, right? And you always have to put it back out. Like it looks impressive and people like back away, but it sucks. It keeps falling off. You can't even run into a rock. What's the point of the thing if it can't run to a rock and like not like fall?
Right.
Yep.
The maze is cool, and Overdog is awesome looking, and just like the world itself, like all the like the hierarchies of like like the slave women and all that stuff, all that's cool. That I could have probably done without those weird siren women that I don't even know what their deal is, but beyond that, yeah, no, it's gotta go. Like Yor is awesome, and for what they were working with, it's really cool, right? They're this Italian production. They're making this TV thing. The dinosaurs look pretty good for that.
Yeah,
they do really.
But I mean, overall, like meritocracy, you have to go with Spacehunter for all the effort they put into that movie. So, Spacehunter for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Spacehunter also. This was for me, story leaned a bit more Yor. Pacing, it would just be if I was doing space scoring on its own,
it would have tied.
It's just tied because it's like
same.
Whatever. Artistry, Spacehunter to me, I mean, it just looks awesome. It's like Mad Max, Star Wars, all like it just has more things combined. Wow. Damn, because Yor has a lot of cool stuff that I like too, the robots and all that. It's tough. It is tough, man. I don't know. The song's awesome. I think Spacehunter just looks cooler. It's just like I don't know. It just looks a bit cooler. It's hard. Like it is tough, but maybe leans a little bit more Spacehunter for me, just slightly because Overdog has a wicked area in that maze of like that's like that's really cool. They put a lot more different cool things. The amount of different cool things outweighs the amount of different cool things in Yor.
Yeah.
So
it's why I had to rewatch it today. That's how much there's in there, because you're like, I want to be able to articulate why I feel this movie's better, even by a hair. I have to be able to articulate that, and then just sitting there watching it, going, "Yeah, this is exactly the way I got to go with this."
Right. Okay, so characters. I could start with I don't know. This is tough because
I can do it. I don't know.
I
I
can't do
got
it.
this. I don't
No,
know.
I can't do it. I lied. I lied. Let's go with Sean first. Which has about, or does anyone want to go first? Does anyone know what they have? Yeah, okay, Steve, go first.
I'll go first.
See, Steve has like he's like the Data or the Spock or right.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to be Spock, but I can't. I'm gonna have to be Shatner on this one. I'm gonna make. Well, I don't want to be. Well, I guess actually I want to be Shatner, but I'm going to be Picard. I'm going to hear everyone's stupid opinion, and then I'm going to make my own. Like Shatner would have made up. Shatner would have already had his opinion made up, and then he would have listened to the other two just to seem like he's listening, and then say the thing. Whereas Picard literally doesn't know what he's doing until everyone tells him. So I'll be Picard in this one.
So if characters was just the main character, it would be Yor by a mile.
Right.
But it's characters. I have to go with Spacehunter. Reason being is that as good as Red Brown is as Yor, I get more of a package with Spacehunter. I get more consistent, memorable, good characters than I do with Yor. All apologies to Peg and all of them. They're great, but like Ernie Hudson steals every frigging scene he's in. This is Molly Ringwald's best performance, I think, and her best character probably. Wolf is serviceable. He's likable. He's not nearly as good as Red Brown, but he's not awful. And Overdog, like Michael Ironside as a villain, clearly is better than the villain in Yor. I really like all of the characters in Spacehunter. Yor has given me a couple of good characters and a lot of characters who I'm like, yeah, they're okay.
Right.
So it's got to go with Spacehunter.
See, I know the thing is, but I love yours so much. This is like where it's like taking, if you just had Christopher Reeve versus like everybody in Watchmen. Like, everybody in Watchmen is the best. Yeah, but it's Christopher Reeve. Is he better than is Yor better than everybody combined? I don't know, because you got Michael Ironside, who has been named one of the 10 best human beings of all time. So that's very difficult. Red Brown has been also named one of the 10 best human beings. But they also have Ernie Hudson, who has been named one of the top 30 best human beings of all time. So I don't know. This is very tough. All right, Charlie, what do you? I'm not going yet. I'm gonna go. I can't. Because if I say it, then that movie wins. That's the thing. I'm scared to say it. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. It has to be Spacehunter because for the exact reason Steven's saying is I can't just compare it to Red Brown. And the only other character that even matters to me in Yor is Pag. Those are really my Batman and Robin in that movie. And I love the charisma of Red Brown. I love everything, but everyone else is replaceable. Spacehunter is the wild cards, like we're saying, like, you know, Wolf is decent. He does a good job. I like that guy. The wild card is Molly Ringwald nails this freaking role. She could have easily, I'm sure some people watch this and go, she's so annoying. That's on purpose. That is how it is written. She doesn't know any better, and she grows as the movie goes on. So her character develops. That is important. Ernie Hudson, like y'all said, he steals the show. Man's got the slick head in this one, no hair. You know, she calls him Chrome Dome. And Michael Ironside is the best villain out of the entire tournament.
Yeah,
period. You take every villain from every movie and compare them to Overdog, and Overdog wins. Period. You know, the glaive never could have touched Overdog. Period. You know, it's just not going to happen. But it's Spacehunter, man. I care about the characters. I enjoy the characters more. I'm invested in them. Yor, I'm invested in the story of Yor and where it's going. And the charisma of Red Brown is really the reason why that movie has made it where it is right now in the tournament. That's really what it is. If you had put anyone else in that, this probably would have just been like, oh yeah, that stupid Yor movie. We're not even going to put it in the tournament. No, Red Brown elevated it, and it is an iconic movie, and it needs more recognition. But Spacehunter's better.
Yeah. All right, Sean, say Space Hunter so we can end this misery.
Oh, J-Man, it comes to
tie
this.
it, tie it, tie it,
The
tie it.
episode. Well, no, the first episode, I threw you under the bus so that you could kill Krull.
Yeah.
Now you're strategically worked it.
Of course, I
now I'm
worked it.
potentially
I
going to kill
worked it
something
so
here.
that you could.
Whoo!
I-
You see
I-
this
I-
whole arc? Like, go to J-Man's playlist and do the whole thing. It's awesome, man. It's like the whole
I know,
tournament
this is
is
like
wicked.
this is we've all grown as people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all playing checkers and J-Man's playing 3-dimensional chess.
Yeah. I'm playing several games of chess here. It's like, you know, I kept you for the last on two things because I wasn't sure. It's like Sean will break the tie because even if Steven, because I'm not sure where Steve's a wild card, I don't know what's going because these are all new movies to him.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's just going and it realistically, we can't really put away. I can't literally file away my Life of Space Hunter and pretend like it's never been there. Like I popped that in, like, you know, that's a go-to movie when we were kids for VHS. It'd be like, oh yeah, we're throwing Space Hunter on, right? Yeah. Charlie, I'm like, my favorite thing in this tournament is that I told you about Space Hunter, then you watched it and you loved it.
And I've watched it multiple times already, just in the span of this.
Right.
And it will be that, like, what do I want to watch? Space Hunter. I'm going to throw Space Hunter on because I can do that with this movie.
Right. That's been my favorite part because like getting people pumped up for, you know, the same kind of thing or whatever. So like, yeah. So go ahead, Sean. Do Space Hunter and look, it's Space Hunter. It's got better. There's more better character. Yours is awesome. Obviously, Space Hunter's better.
He goes, just say it. It's not my turn yet, but just say it.
Go ahead, say it.
It's you, Space Hunter. Look, man, everything everyone said. The thing is, like the characters are more defined here. I know they're chasing that Star Warsian thing, but I mean, but it works here. You know, like you know, the road guy, you know, Washington, and the actors are all awesome too. All of them are great. Like an Overdog's awesome. I mean, like, because you get a bit more of. I know nowadays generations want to know why someone's evil, and they don't understand that evil is just evil. It's like, you know, go to other countries and tell those leaders to give women rights and stuff. They're not gonna effing do it. You know, it's like it's a mindset, right? So, and I love that just the casual way it's depicted here. You know, he looks at a woman's like, yes, like, and all that, but it's like he just oozes it, right? He's awesome. Yeah. You know, Ernie Hudson's wicked. Penitentiary 2 is awesome. If you've never seen that movie, it's wicked. 1 and 3 are okay, but 2 is like the freaking best. And he's the main bad guy in that one. Right. But yeah, no, it's gotta be like Yor is cool, and the 3 are neat. I don't get a lot of them in that movie as much as I do in Space Hunter. Mm-hmm. You know, I just get that pegs like, oh, you know, Kala is the most important thing to me, and that's about it, right? Right. That actor's he's really good. Like his eyes are very expressive.
I like Peg. Peg's probably my favorite.
Yeah, but it's got to be Space Hunter. I remember all their names and stuff, and you know, that's more than I can say for most of the movies in this in this tournament.
that is very true.
And even what's her face in the beginning was awesome when she died. I was like, oh my god, they killed her.
Yeah, Chalmers.
Yeah, she's wicked, you know. So, yeah, I have to give it to Space Hunter, and shank Yor in the back. So yeah,
Sean is the Yor killer.
I'm the Yor killer.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't look. It's Space Hunter, right? Obviously, it's just the sheer amount of characters. Like everybody's awesome in Space Hunter, whereas Yor is super awesome. Yor on his own is more awesome than any individual person, but he's not more awesome than all of them to combine.
Exactly.
It's just not gonna. And I loved Molly Ringwald when I was a kid watching. I was like, oh, she's great. And then you see her in Breakfast Club and all that. I'm like, oh yeah, she's all right. Like it's like I was just like, to me, I was like, this was her best performance ever.
I agree. Yeah, because that's all I knew her from was the teen movies, you know, the Pretty in Pinks and all that. Yeah, the Hughes movies. Right. And to see her in this, even I'm going, that's Molly Ringwald. Like, when did she do this? And it was just so shocking in this. And she is one of my favorites in this one. I think she has the best development of character of anyone. Yes, it was written that way, but she pulls it off beautifully in this movie.
So
yeah, and they also, and I'll say this too. People always say, "Well, there's no character development stuff." Well, here's character development. Oh, well, there's no like. It's like people keep running out of excuses because they just say, I don't know what you call it, like
they say like a catchphrase,
they say catchphrases.
You know,
oh, the tone.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't like
organic development of the character.
Yeah, there's no development. It's like, okay, well,
like, have you read a book?
Like name like development, and also development what? Like, what story is this, right? Like everything.
Yeah, development is one thing I stick on, because sometimes I hear that and then I watch the movie and I'm like, there's plenty of character development. Do you know what it is? Perhaps you don't.
Right?
Like,
do you understand what you're wanting? Yeah, I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yes.
Can I ask the panel something before we get to enjoyment?
Sure.
I was going to ask this and I forgot. Of all the movies we watched, what is the top 5? What is in your top 5 of the movies you watched?
Wow.
Oh, let's take a look.
Well, Belby and Stars.
Pull up the thing.
So to make it easier, it's just so you can see, the top row is every movie and the bottom row is every movie. So you don't have to try to look. So it's easier that way. So obviously, Battle Beyond the Stars is awesome. I think Crawl, Star Crash for me, Enemy Mine, Spacehunter. That's probably is that 5 or is that more than 5? Is that 6? So who can I draw? Well, let me look. Well, Enemy Mine has to be there. Spacehunter has to be there. Yor has to be there for sure. I would say, I guess, Star Crash and maybe, I don't know, Crawl, or I don't know. What do you guys think? I also like Outland a lot. No, I don't think I could do 5. I like a lot of them.
I would say, and this might be surprising, Spacehunter is not in my top 5.
Oh, wow.
But the thing is, we're going by comparisons and we're going by these honest reviews of each category.
Right.
And it's like, what is the best, right?
Yeah, so just
like you're talking about, like, for top 5, you're talking about like what your favorites are.
Yeah, just do your favorites, right? You know, like, just what did you like? What did you got? What
like I would say, like Battle Beyond the Stars, Yor, Enemy Mine, Crawl, and Space Raiders. Yes, Crawl is in there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the worst, Sean.
That's Sean waking up from his nap.
Sean, like,
let's see. I'm gonna go Enemy Mine, Spacehunter, Yor, Space Raiders, and Outland.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Those are all good.
I gotta throw Outland in there. Such a good movie.
I like Outland. Yeah,
really. You know what? Space Raiders made my top 5 because of this tournament. I was reminded of it.
Oh, awesome.
It would have been something like Ice Pirates or something.
I would have put like Arena in its place, but I realized that I like Space Raiders so much more.
Arena has a lot of weirdness to it too, that it's just like there's really only like 1 or 2 fights. It's like it wasn't like, I thought it would be more like watching it again after not having seen it for like 15 years or something crazy. I rewatched it for this. I owned it, but I rewatched it for this tournament. And I'm like, I thought this was more blood sport, but really there's like 2 fights. Like, there's not really a lot of like battles going on.
Yeah.
Me putting it on there would have been more just from nostalgia, because I had watched Arena a lot, growing up. If I was going for like something maybe I didn't expect, the one I didn't expect I would like, and I put it in there, is Space Raiders.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that one. The one that if I had an honorable mention, I have to throw Ice Pirates in there because it's just so freaking fun.
Right.
It's one of those that doesn't take it's better than Galaxina as far as the movies that don't take themselves serious in here.
Oh,
Crawl, Space Hunter, Ice Pirates.
That's a solid one right there. Yeah.
All right, Steve. What did you think?
Well, I'm going to do a couple of shockers here, or at least one shocker. Saturn 3.
Oh, wow.
Enemy Mine, Battle Beyond the Stars, Spacehunter, Space Raiders, honorable mention, Crawl, and Galaxy of Terror.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I gotta tell you, I legit like everything here. I actually like everything here. Space Mutiny would be my least favorite, but I'm okay with Space Mutiny. I'd watch it again. All the other movies I genuinely like.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think Space Mutiny is the bottom for everybody probably on this.
Yeah.
It's still cool, man. It's still some funny.
I know exactly. I'm still cool with it.
I gotta watch Star Crash again just to figure out who the bad guy was. So
oh my god, this is so crazy.
The evil looking guy. Dude,
right.
I don't understand.
Which
that's really weird.
The evil looking guy.
Which one?
Well, not Christopher Plummer, who has like this like smooth. He's got the smoothest face in the galaxy. He's like, I am the king.
Sorry,
it's like super smooth.
And it takes you 2 times to get through the movie. You're just like, who's the bad guy again? I can't tell.
Joe Spinell literally has craters all over his. He's like Robert Davi, but like double Robert Davi's cratery face.
Yeah.
Look, man, it had Hasselhoff. You don't have to sell me. It had Hasselhoff, and I was totally fine with that. And he is a beautiful man. He rivals Olivia, whatever her name is, Monroe. You know, they're two beautiful people. Carolyn Monroe. That's it. See, I was like, I'll take Hasselhoff over her. That's how that goes.
Oh my god, that is outrageous.
Man, he had
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
But it's hard to look at Spinell's craters and note it after Davi and Billy Drago.
Yeah, those are all the crater face. It's just like they should all team up. It's like it's prune face. They're all prune faces. Sort of.
Joe Spinell, it's funny, if you just Google him, he hung out with everybody. I don't know. Yeah. There's so many like pictures and videos. And there's the one video I saw just this past week where what's his name? Spielberg was waiting for Jaws to be announced in the Academy Awards nominations, and he thought it was going to sweep and everything. And he's hanging out with Joe Spinell, and I was like,
wow.
Why is he hanging out with you with this? What? How? Who?
Because
why?
he saw Star Crash and was like, oh, that guy's from Star Crash. I gotta hang out.
That's totally what.
Yeah, he goes, which one?
He's the bad guy in Star Crash.
Which one of you were the bad guys in that? That's what Steven Spielberg.
I think we gotta Photoshop Sean into a picture with Joe Spinell, and then
Sean it's crazy just hanging out with guys. Usually with a Maniac T-shirt, but
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's promoting his movie, man.
So let's take a look. We'll get to enjoyment in a second. We'll get the poll has 7 votes. It is 57 Spacehunter.
Wow,
so that
close.
So
that's
about
surprising.
A minute ago, it was tied.
Wow.
So obviously, MMM joined the poll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's he's not commenting, but he came in here to kill Yor.
Yeah, he's just pissed off, and then he's like,
that's exactly.
He came in here to take his shots, and then he left. All right, enjoyment. I'm gonna go first. I enjoy Yor more just because it's more fun for me. Spacehunter is a real movie. Yor wants to be a real movie that has a lot of cool stuff in it, so it's approaching realness. I just like Yor. It's fun. It's newer for me, so I don't even have I for sure like it because Spacehunter is a childhood one, and this is beating a childhood one. But I made the Facebook group. I'm having a lot of fun with that. That is contributing to me liking it more. Mm-hmm. But Spacehunter, I actually think that Spacehunter's already won because it's got three categories. So Spacehunter has won. I do believe that Spacehunter is the best of all the movies we've watched that were in the tournament. I believe that when I started the tournament, I thought Battle Beyond the Stars and Spacehunter would be the final 2 until I rewatched Yor and discovered how amazing it was.
Right.
And so a few surprises like Space Raiders, which went far. Right. I knew I'm the only one who likes Star Crash. I thought I was the only one who liked Galaxina, so I knew those weren't going anywhere. But I was like, Spacehunter should win this. In my just being objective, I would think Spacehunter should win this. It's exactly everything that this is. It's like fun, a lot of cool areas, a lot of cool characters, awesome vehicles. It's got Spacehunter. It's got space in the name. It's got a 3D thing. Like it has all the right stuff. I'm still going to give my vote to Yor for enjoyment because it's just, I enjoyed it a bit more. That's it. So there you go. Totally. Sean.
Who killed Battle Beyond the Stars? Was it Yor?
No, it was Outland.
Outland.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm sitting on the couch about that one.
I gotta watch that again. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, so it beats. Yeah, you know what? Well, we'll talk about. Okay, let's talk about that. We'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
Sean, what do you? What was your?
It's Yor. I mean, I've seen it a million times, and like I watched it again today. Yeah, I mean, like they're both awesome. Like I'd pop in Space Hunter as well. But I think Yor is funny. Every time I watch it, I get something different out of it. Like, oh yeah, was that shot always there? Like, just some funny stuff in there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Yor for enjoyment. J-Man and Steve know this. I really love Saturday morning cartoons. Like I have like shelves of that shit.
Yeah, that's my.
And Yor is the closest to that, probably in this
Mm-hmm.
whole tournament.
Yep.
It's a lot like those, like Black Star and all that stuff, right? So, so it speaks more to my sensibilities. It's the one I'll pop in more. I bought it on several different formats over the years. So yeah, Yor.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of Thundercats in there. It's got.
It should have been a cartoon.
He-Man.
Yeah,
it's got a little bit of Black Star.
Even the main bad guy looks like a dude that like Filmation would make.
Totally the robots and stuff. It's like you got those scientist guys. It's like it's literally yeah. All right, Steve, which one do you enjoy more?
It's Space Hunter.
Space Hunter. All right.
Yours really fun, and it's an awesome ride. But like I was completely engrossed with Star Hunter from beginning to end. Just the relationship and everything.
Yeah.
Like when Nikki ends up in the maze, I was like, oh, this is crazy. She's gonna die because no one gets and the way she beat it was so ingenious. Mm-hmm. I was with all of the characters from beginning to end, and it's one of those movies that I will say, you're enjoying the movie when the real world melts away. And for me, the real world melted away for Yor, but I was pulled out back into it in very small pockets. That never happened in Space Hunter.
Space Hunter, yeah.
So for me, Space Hunter.
Okay, Charlie, this is crazy. Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I literally have no clue what you're gonna say.
That's kind of the beauty of what I'm gonna say. It's a tie for me because it doesn't matter. Because Space Hunter wins.
Yeah, it won anyway. Yeah.
I enjoy both of these movies equally. I can literally, I could cover my eyes, throw a DVD in, not knowing which one it is, and I'll be happy with either one. And we said this coming into the finale. I'm not going to be mad of whether Yor wins or Space Hunter wins. This was probably going to be the one that I was the most particular about whenever I say what I like more about one than the other. But on the whole, if I was to put a space rating to each movie individually, it's a tie. There's not really one that I would be like, oh, this one's obviously better. It is truly a tie to me, but because we had to have a winner, we have to pick one.
Right.
If this enjoyment mattered, I probably would have picked Space Hunter. But because it's already won,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
It truly is a tie for me. As far as enjoyment goes. And that's the beauty of enjoyment. Enjoyment is the wild card. We say it all the time. It can go one way or the other. Right. Either one of these is complete enjoyment for me. It's escapism. It's just imagination. One is trying to be Star Wars and Mad Max. The other is trying to be Star Wars and Flash Gordon and, some prehistoric stuff. It's so much. The Saturday morning cartoon is the perfect, description to go with Yor, and Space Hunter is the Saturday afternoon movie that would play. And I've got a perfect Saturday.
It's exactly that.
Watch both. Yeah.
It's exactly the Saturday afternoon movie. That's exactly it. Yes. So, I love that.
That's where we're at, man. But Space Hunter won.
All right. Here
deservingly.
We go.
The Superman font.
Superman. Yeah. There you go.
It really is.
Space Hunter 1.
And I want to watch it in 3D. I want to watch this movie in 3D, man.
There's no Blu-ray or DVD of this in 3D. I don't think there ever has been.
No, you can get it. Metal Storm, which is the one I bought, has a 3D.
Yeah.
But you have to have a 3D TV, a 3D player.
No, but I love when they have the anaglyph for the red and blue. Like I have the red and blue for Treasure of the Four Crowns.
Say I didn't come with this is
and
the
it's
one you
awesome.
have to use the clear 3D
Yeah.
glasses, but you have to have everything else that goes with it for one. And I've said it on the podcast a couple times is this is where like Oculus and these VR companies need to jump on these old 3D movies and release versions that you can sit there and watch on your Oculus and experience it in 3D like it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Criminal.
I thought you said Space Hunter. Oh, Criminal for tying it? I don't know. I think you like
I'll tell you, I'm Criminal. I love the Treasure
awesome,
of Four Crowns.
Yeah. No, I have so many different versions of that movie. It's crazy. I love that there's a commentary on it from like a film historian.
That's the only person they could find.
Yeah.
10 years after World War IV.
You have to watch that movie, man.
I still need to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this as a 10 years after.
10 years later.
I love it. I love it.
10 years after World War IV.
Yeah, it's like wow, that's really in the future.
That's like Born His Dog.
Criminal. There's no Space Hunter 3D. Yeah, that's what he's saying. That is Criminal for 100%.
Yeah,
and to me, it's a no brainer for these companies that do the 3D, virtual games. Come on, man. These movies can't be that expensive to get a hold of or get into a partnership with whoever's doing the releases and go, hey, let's put it on here, man. I mean, I'd buy it. I would buy it. I don't have an Oculus. I would if you tell me I get to watch Space Hunter in 3D.
Or any of the old 3D stuff that you can't get.
Like Jason 3D, Jaws 3D, the old school 3D stuff.
Yeah.
Any 3D movie. Not really.
Black and Gold.
Yeah.
That's why Last Starfighter wasn't in this, Brian. It would have won easily.
Oh, we already said they would have even beat Enemy Mine. Last Starfighter, just based on nostalgia and what the adventure, it would have dominated.
Enemy Mine as well. I just hadn't seen it. And Sean, it is justified to be on this list initially because nobody talked about it. This was supposed to be.
That was my thing. Yeah. I knew it was good, but like to me, it was like because I saw it a million times as a kid, and I saw it in a theater. But like I thought, maybe it's not as good as I remember,
right?
Because like no one's talking about this movie. Like if you look up, Mine review, there's like a handful of like chuckleheads.
Yeah,
it's not it's not as celebrated as it really should be, and it's like mega stars in it. It was
a major studio release.
The guy who made Neverending Story. Why wouldn't people? And it's a great movie, and why wouldn't people talk about this today?
Right?
Yeah.
No, I like the
House of Cats.
I've never seen this.
I've never even heard of that. But I love the fact that we threw that in there though, and it caused a little bit of chaos in the thing. That was fun, and then we got to bring back a movie that everyone was mad that we eliminated. So
and kill it again.
And kill it again. We double tapped it, but I like that stuff kind of happened on here. I like a little bit of change in pace and chaos in it.
Okay, so that's it. Space Hunter is the winner. Here's what this is crazy. I do think it's a great winner.
That's an honest to God win. It's like everyone else would be like, "Oh, this movie's the best." No, we did the homework. We did the work. It's like it is the best of all of these.
And it's not a fluke. Like it's not like it went up against something it shouldn't have. Like there's only like one or two, like we were talking about, that maybe probably should have made it and others didn't. But honestly, when it all comes down to the end, it's the Battle Beyond the Stars and Outland until everyone watched Outland and went, damn, this is actually a good movie. There's a lot to it. And what hurts Battle Beyond the Stars is every movie used something from it. You know what I mean? You feel like you've seen it in every entry on this tournament.
Right.
And then you're like, it's not actually that good because this movie here did a lot better use of the ships than Battle Beyond the Stars did,
Battle Beyond the Stars is problem, and it's really difficult to I'm 50-50 on this, but the problem is that it is Seven Samurai in space. That is literally what it is. It has
It's almost shot for shot. Yeah.
It has Robert Vaughn reprising his role from Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
It is literally that story. And it's a great story, but we've seen it so many times. It's like, again? It's hard.
It's a Roger Corman thing too. We know it's a Roger, and there's other Roger Corman movies on this tournament too. And once you know his movies and styles, you kind of start seeing a little repetition. You start seeing like, okay, I've seen it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Then we get thrown a curveball like Space Raiders that while they used a little bit of Battle Beyond the Stars, they elevated what little bit they used and then made a movie their own, not copying stuff. So I like that.
I was going to say, we never did Battle Beyond the Stars versus Space Raiders. But I think that would have been like Space Raiders would have probably edged it out a bit.
That would have been a tough one. Like there's some like putting them up against each other, like Galaxina and Ice Pirates. Well, Ice Pirates probably would have beat it. They're closer related.
Right.
But I like that we didn't like categorically divide them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the weirdest thing was Outland versus Battle Beyond the Stars. That was probably the weirdest one because
it really was.
They don't really jive with each other, but I don't know what it just fell that way. And the other thing too is that like Outland is an awesome movie and it's pretty neat on its own, but it's almost like, is it something that needs to be in this tournament? It's like a borderline one, right?
It's right on that edge. But what you do is it a space opera? Well, hell yeah, it's a space opera. There are dark operas, there are light operas, there's all this. Outland literally, I think, is the closest I would call an opera. It's like a space noir. You know, it totally worked. It's just it went up against something super campy, super, Roger Corman-esque against Sean Connery, but
which is like,
we didn't use that as a crutch either. It got, Outland got eliminated afterwards because you can't just rely on, it's Sean Connery. No, there's other elements because the next movie is better. So it works, man.
Okay. So here's how it's going to go. The next one, we've got 2 planned and we're going to do a stream on picking the selections. So I want to do fantasy. So 80s fantasy, same criteria. It's not going to be Conan Schwarzenegger because that's obviously like a brilliant masterpiece.
Or Excalibur.
I'm no Excalibur. No. Right. Like, Excalibur. Sure. That's like one of the best movies of all time.
Legend.
So, Legend is out.
Yeah.
I would say Conan the Destroyer is out.
I would say anything with that. Willow's out.
Like the big studio stuff is gone.
Is out. So
except for maybe Red Sonja, like that's
Red Sonja.
That skirts the line, right? Yeah.
But here's the thing: it's in with an asterisk because it's a twist. No, because we're doing the female fantasies, so like Barbarian Queen, Red Sonja, she, that kind of stuff, and we're gonna do the male kind of beefed up one, so like like Hercules and whatever. So we're gonna do male and female different. We just want 8 movies for each. And if you want, I don't know how you guys want, if you want to like alternate weeks, or if you just want to do all the male ones and then all the female ones, or all the female ones, all the males, we could decide. You guys can let me know, like we can decide how to do that. It's only going to be 8 movies each. And we're all going to just come up with whatever movies you think. If you have more than 8, just throw them on there. If you have less than 8, don't worry about it because we're going to all come up collectively. We're going to have one stream for the men, one stream for the women. And for the men, we're going to pick, here's the 8, and that's it. And then for the women, we'll do here. We'll just do you want to just do the men first and then the women, or what do you guys think?
I'm fine with just doing the men first. Get it done and knocked out.
No labyrinth.
No.
Too
good.
Too good.
Okay, so let's do the men. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come up with our male leads. There could be a female in it, but it's got to be like and when I say female lead, like I don't remember Barbarian Queen exactly. I own it, but I don't remember if there's a guy who's also a lead. But Barbarian Queen is also a woman. It's like Hundra, like
you watch it for the female.
You're watching it for the female, right? Like Red Sonja. I know Schwarzenegger's in Red Sonja, but we're watching it because.
But you're watching it for Bridget.
Title character is Red Sonja.
Yeah, the real. Yeah.
The males is we have to get things like Deathstalker 2.
Deathstalker, and we're all gonna pick. Okay, so here's some of the rules. We'll come up with the rules as well on that.
Yeah, so what's your rule about franchises?
Loose rule is part 1.
Part 1, okay.
I'm fine with that. I think that
because for me, I picked the second Hercules because to me it was the better one. But like we can go with part 1.
I love both Hercules movies, but look, part 1 is part 1.
Yeah,
it's Lou Ferrigno, coming out.
I had Ator 2 on here too, but I'll have Ator 1.
So it's because we got to go with part 1, I think, because it's just, that's the fairest way. It's very easy to say, hey, Deathstalker 1 was a bit slow. Let's jazz it up, make it a bit more funny, right?
Yeah.
That's not fair, right?
Yeah.
Even with Hercules 2, it's like, oh, let's make it even wackier than Hercules 1. And I've got both theatrical posters for both Hercules Lou Ferrigno movies. You know how hard it was to get part 2? That was hard to find. Part 1, I've got a folded version, rolled version, and the skinny version. But part 2 was so hard to find. I couldn't believe when I found that.
Yeah, part 2, that's the one with Skylinks from Transformers. It's like there's a thing that looks exactly like Skylinks. I'm like, what the hell?
No, I think Skylinks is part 1, isn't it?
Is it part 1? It's the one where he's fighting the mechanical things.
Yeah, that's part 1.
That's part 1 with the mechanical
Hydra. The Hydra.
Yes,
the Hydra. It's a gold Skylinks. Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah. So 80s. So it's got to be 80s. So 80s male fantasy. Okay, and part 1. So Deathstalker 1, I'm pretty sure we're all gonna have that one in there. So like
maybe I don't know.
So
I'll have my revenge on Deathstalker 1.
Oh no! Well, you said it, so I'm gonna play.
Right.
You said it, so that's it. I gotta play. Hold on.
Now he's got to scroll through 100.
I gotta scroll through like 100. I can never find them all. Oh, by the time I find it, the stream, I'm gonna have to end the stream.
Yes, that would be schlocky. Yes.
I'll have my revenge, and Deathstalker 2.
I mean, schlocky's fun, but they don't have to be schlocky, but most are.
Most are, yeah.
Because we're eliminating the big budget ones or the better known ones, they kind of all are schlocky.
Yeah. So we'll do the male ones first. And you can do and we may as well start thinking about the female one. So we'll do the male one first. Pick your Hawk the Slayer is already one of my picks. Brian, that's
Silly String of Doom.
I think we'll all have the same picks.
We'll have well, maybe not, because we got to limit. So here's the thing: we're limiting it to 8.
Yeah.
Pick as many as you want, but we're going to do only 8, and then we're going to arrange them, and then we're going to do. So the first rounds are going to be individual. We can't group them, but once we get to like the semifinals, maybe we can even group a couple.
Yeah, like knock them out quick.
Yeah, so
I'm down.
Obviously round 1, we got to do the full proper 90-minute, hour to 90.
An actual versus of 2 movies.
Right.
After that, then we can double up.
We can double up some, right? And we'll see how it goes, because if again, if it goes, if some people are like, you know what, I want there's more to talk about on this one. Okay,
Right.
But yeah, the first rounds we have to do properly. So that's how it's going to be done. And then so that won't start till later on. We're going to take a break from the verses for the rest of the December. We'll come back in January, and we're going to do a few normal verses. First one of the new year, I want to do Thomas Jane Punisher versus Punisher Warzone. Same way here, space. We'll do the space thing, because I think that'll be very interesting.
That it will be punishment, man. That is punishment.
Yeah, I didn't put the Dolph. I was almost going to do a 3-way punishment.
There was no way. We would just be gushing over to Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren.
Like literally, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie is like, I've watched it so many. Yeah, I've got that too, Sean.
I just had it right here.
Oh, look at this, eh? This is here's Marshall McLuhan. It's like
I've got Louis Gossett Jr. right here.
Right here. Yeah, I only have my poop emojis.
Your poop water? Okay.
Poop water. And my Mortal Kombat. This Mortal Kombat poster is actually wrong. They changed the date. It was supposed to. Yeah, it has the wrong. It has the wrong date on it, which is kind of neat. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna do it that way. So we're gonna do Punisher. Thomas Jane versus Warzone. That'll be the first, and we might do a couple more just generic ones that are just regular verses.
Cliffhanger versus Vertical Limit, like two mountain.
Oh,
I thought that today. I was like, oh shit!
I love Vertical Limit. Cliffhanger is awesome. I'm trying to convince our friend Owen from the Action Elite to do some of these this way for action movies. Like I'd love to see, something like that on the Action Elite. I think that right there, Sean, that would be perfect.
Yeah,
right in January as a winter pick. Cliffhanger versus Vertical Limit. That'd be awesome.
Or two of the double Van Dams or something like that facing off.
Yeah, it's like two like where he's the twins.
Yeah,
like replicant and double
team.
Yeah,
double impact.
Yeah, I wouldn't count Maximum Risk because the twin dies in that one.
Yeah,
he dies before we see him or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, something like that. So that's great for actually. I was trying to I'm thinking Swamp Thing versus Return of Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I know which one.
Would
I
we
more,
be surprised by your answer for that?
Hell no! Since I've got the Return of the Swamp Thing poster, which I paid a lot of money for, and it was hard to find. And it's the best movie ever made. So,
spoilers, guys.
The spoilers. I'm picking.
We don't have to do that one now. Okay,
but that's all enjoyment. That's all. Still, the point of that, though, is that's still enjoyment because breaking it down is different. That's the beauty of this. It's like I want to break it down. So that's why I'm trying to convince our buddy Owen to we did a couple on his channel where we broke them down.
Yeah.
And I like breaking it down because what's going to happen is if we did the first ever, like if we did like Bloodsport versus Above the Law, the breakout movies, right? What's going to happen is that you're just going to say, well, I like Van Damme better than Seagal, so whatever. Or
yeah, we got to think about it. Yeah.
Right. Because we know people like even our buddy John, who who loves who went into martial arts and stuff, and he loves Seagal. It's like, oh yeah, I love I practice Aikido. Okay, well then that's you're just gonna say Above the Law because that introduced me to Aikido, and that's what I really like. It's like right, but and Van Damme's like, well, it's a tournament movie, so that's cooler. But no, we breaking it down is harder, right? Like I think Above the Law is a really good film. But Bloodsport, that's like my childhood favorite movie ever. Like Van Damme, it's like we're like this is so again, but how does it hold up? Is the story that good compared to Above the Law? I don't know. So that would be more fair. That's why I like doing it this way because then it's always going to be enjoyment. I'll pick the worst Van Damme movie over the best Seagal movie because I like Van Damme more. Ooh. Yeah, I'll take the worst Van Damme movie. Maybe not.
Talking the best Seagal would be like Under Siege,
or
something like that. Yeah, that's a bit of spice. That's a spicy take there, J-Man.
Okay, so maybe. Well, yeah, I would take a mediocre Van Damme versus Under Siege. How's that?
Okay, maybe.
Like, what's a mediocre Van Damme? Under Siege is good, so that's a.
I
actually like Under Siege 2 better, so that would be.
I enjoy both, but Tommy Lee Jones. Gary Busey is in the other one. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but he outruns a train, and and he can I mean, that's crazy. Although Erica Eleniak is in part 1, I forgot about that. I don't know how.
How could you forget about that?
I don't know.
He's in the cake.
Yeah, how many VHS tapes were ruined right at that spot? It's like, why does it get all fuzzy here? It's like, oh, it's been rewound. It's been rewound 1,000 times.
I might have left it on pause for a couple hours.
Yeah. Or it's on a couple hours right there. Jesus, man. Drink some water. You'll be fine. Make sure to hydrate.
Yeah, hydrate. So yeah, but we'll do the 2 Punishers for sure.
Rocky 1 and 2 would be
that'd be great for so I'm gonna try to get Owen to go to that. Let me I think it's a great idea for the Action Elite to do that. I do want to do a tier ranking. I've been talking with Hungry Boy from Clobberin's channel, and he desperately wants to do a horror thing, and I wanted to do sort of a look back at kind of more recent horror, like where are we at with horror, talking about Hellraiser, Halloween, Terrifier, Barbarian, X, Pearl, all these newer horror movies. So that would just be a shoot in the shit stream about this stuff. So let's do that in January sometime. And in January, Sean and I are doing the Tarzan, which is going to be super pumped because Scott Tracy Griffin's going to come on. He's that's going to be really cool. So there's a lot coming up. And then Avatar, we'll talk about it privately after the stream and see what we want to do with Avatar. But Owen's going to see it. Owen's like, I'm not going to go see this movie. I don't care. And we're like, well, we're going to go see it. And then we didn't go, and he's going to go before because he's going to go on Tuesday. So it's like he's going to somehow see it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Anything else on the Space Opera Tournament? Anything else that you want to say?
I think we've said all to say about these movies in the space opera.
I think there's much. I'm deleting.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea, and breaking them down like this really helps you analyze things without that passion. Well, I mean, there's passion still, right? But like without
passion's there, but more analytical.
The bias.
Why do I like this?
Stripped away. Yeah.
Right. And you explain yourself. Like I give you, we got the enjoyment category that gives you the ability to say whatever the hell you want. Oh, I love it. I don't care. Okay. Right. But you still got to break it down. Right? You have to have some sort of system to break this down too, right? Like you can't just be like, oh, I like this better. It's like, well, why?
Your favorite movie can't be the one you fell asleep to your entire childhood.
Right, Sean. that's like
I'm ending this on my joke, damn it, and I'm gonna do it.
Okay, so
I don't have to say a lot more.
That's it. Don't say a lot more.
All right. Hopefully we'll see you on Tuesday. If not, then next week sometime. Take it easy.
See you guys.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.